Hey guys, it's Logan Freeman, and this is the LiveFree Investors Podcast. I interview investors and business owners who share investment advice so you too can live free. Today, I'm talking to my buddy, Adam. Adam, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do. If our listeners are not looking at you, they probably won't be able to tell, but if you are watching, you very well might be able to.
Yeah. Hey, Logan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I'm a United States Marine in my active duty day-to-day job. I'm also a real estate investor. So I buy single family, residential multifamily, and I'm invested in some larger multifamily as an LP as well.
Absolutely.
Also done. Yeah.
What else have you done? Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. I've also done some private lending too. So I've got some experience.
All right. So tell me about your private lending, how you got invested or started in that and felt comfortable to kind of make that, because I don't hear a lot of folks, actually doing the private lending business, Adam. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for that space, it really just started with building relationships.
Yep.
Right. So what I've found so far is investing in people is just as important as investing in the numbers.
Yep.
So for me, I'd done a couple deals with this particular company and these individuals. Their character was just so high that I was very confident, almost no matter what those numbers said, that was going to be a quality investment.
Yeah. I always mention to folks, behind real estate is people, and those people are just about as important, if not more important, than the real estate itself. So I can't agree with you enough. Now, you're an active duty military. Tell us about some of the principles that you've adopted or even have seen overlap in the real estate investing world. One of them being adaptability, which we're already seeing today, right? But maybe talk to us a little bit more about some of those principles that you see overlap.
Yeah. So, first off, real estate is similar to the military in the fact that people think the military is about stuff and things and doing things, but the reality is it's the human will.
Yep.
Right. So the human capital there's nothing more important than the people, right? Because the people are the ones who are going to do the things.
Sure.
Another part of that, I would say, is our mindset. We have a solution mindset, and we are just ruthless opportunism people. So we see opportunity and we just ruthlessly exploit it.
Yeah. I was so close, from, if I wasn't going to go play football, I know this is not like a comparison, but I was really close to going into the military. My family was very involved and active in the actual Air Force, and so I thought about the Air Force. I thought about then you see all the stuff about Navy SEALs and the Marines and things like that, and so I have this passion about reading about our military and folks that have been through our military, right? I mean, I think about Jocko Willink, I think about David Goggins, I think about the movie, I forget the movie. He was a Navy SEAL, Marcus Luttrell, the book, in that movie and that book. And I don't know any of the validity to all of that, but what I do see is the same passion and drive and motivation and discipline and focus that it took to be a successful athlete in the military. I absolutely love a lot of the principles. So I read as many military books as I can get my hands on, to be honest with you. Do you know any of those guys or follow any of those guys?
I don't know those guys personally. I know many guys just like them that come with a lot less fanfare, but yeah, highly credible. I was just talking to a guy this morning, and we were talking about the book Miracle Morning with Elrod. And, one of the things is military folks, similar to athletes, like we are so disciplined in our routine that I don't need to read that book to know I have a morning routine, right?
That's right. Yeah. It's baked into what you do on a regular basis, and you make your bed every single day, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned Hal Elrod. His podcast is absolutely phenomenal. Hal went through a lot of different challenges just recently, and hearing him talk about those openly on his podcast has been an incredible experience for me. Especially, I think a lot of folks are dealing with mental health issues right now with the lockdown and things like that. Hal goes deep into that stuff, so I can't speak to him enough and the value that he's putting out there. So, Adam, tell me what the best thing about being an investor is in your mind.
So, first and foremost, kind of to touch back on what we've already said, it's the network of people. There's a
Sure.
lot of people who have a common goal, and there's something to be said about purpose,
Yep.
right? When people have purpose, they're motivated, they're doing things for other people, they realize it's an abundant world. So that's part one.
Sure.
Part two for me, I think, is the time freedom it can provide you and the velocity of your money, right? So money's the tool you use that gets you to your end goal, and real estate is a powerful tool to help you get there.
Absolutely. Many people ask me what I do, and I say, well, I'm in sales and marketing, and commercial real estate is my vehicle, and it's just a vehicle that has been proven to be successful over and over again. Adam, there's so many things going on in the world today. I'm sure in the military as well, but keeping up to those, up to date on the current trends and opportunities can be a real challenge. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you overcome that and you stay up to date on everything that's going on.
Yeah, and I hate to keep going back to it, but that's twofold for me. Number one, it's the people, right? It's the
Yep.
people you surround yourself with. You're having the conversations every day because you have that common purpose. And number two is education.
Yeah.
Podcasts like yours and others who are also looking at the problem set and talking about some of their trials and
Yep.
tribulations. And from a purely investing standpoint, is just understanding those micro markets and how those effects are taking place there.
Yep.
And again, ruthless opportunism. So
Yeah.
you find the opportunity, you bring all your friends and network along, and you dominate contested space.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. It's fantastic advice. This is your opportunity to promote somebody to the show, Adam. And so obviously we run in some different circles. You're out in California. I'm in, the Midwest. You're in the military. I am not. So what other successful investors like yourself should be on the Live Free Investors podcast?
Yeah, so I would go with Stuart Grazier.
Okay.
Stuart Grazier, if you know him, runs Storehouse 310 Ventures in the Military Investor Network. He's become, whether he knows it or not, a mentor of mine. So he's just a high character guy, and he's got his fingers in all kinds of spaces, from turnkey to multifamily, and he's just an incredible human, great
Awesome.
father, great husband.
Yes, we will definitely have Stuart on. Hey, I forgot to ask you, what's the best advice that you've received as an investor up to this point?
Yeah, so the best advice for me is threefold. Number one is educate yourself.
Okay.
Number two is take action. And then number three is exploit success, right? So education, don't waste your time watching Netflix and doing other things. Be disciplined with what you're doing. Learn every single day,
Yep.
right? And then that learning's no good if you're not taking action on it. So just put yourself out there. There is never going to be a perfect solution.
That's
A
right.
70% solution executed aggressively is better than a 100% solution executed too late.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Now, I love that advice. And a lot of folks always ask me, how are you taking so much action? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on if somebody is kind of in that education space and they're learning, but they have a hard time actually taking that next leap into action. How do they get past paralysis by analysis?
Here's I'll give you a parable, right? This is, or a story about what I did. I was listening to podcasts, and now I'm just soaking in the information, and I started reaching out to people. One guy put his cell phone number on the podcast, and I called him
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, here's what I have. Here's the value I can bring to you. I can help underwrite deals. I have some time. I can, go through T12s, whatever you need me to do." And I ended up joint venturing with him and three other guys.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. So just taking that initiative, right? I mean, just doing something. It might not be the right thing, but at least just doing something and reaching out, putting yourself out there is really, really important. My wife is always saying, I can't believe how much you put yourself out there. And I said, but I would never know if I was going to succeed or fail if I never tried, right? Michael Jordan always said he missed 100% of the shots that he never took. And I think that's a a mentality that's really, really important for probably any successful person. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah, you have to do it, and you have to fail up, right? You have
Yeah.
to be willing to fail a little bit, and it's really not. It's not the failure you have; it's the reaction once you fail that really makes you successful, right? Because we're all going to fail in our lives. Faith, family, finance. We'll
Yep.
all fail. We will all fail. So it's what you do once that happens.
I'm so grateful to live in the United States. So I want to commend you for serving our country, but also there's so many. I have investors that in partners that I work with that were either active military or have been have served and are retired now. But I want to ask, are there more military guys that are starting to think about, and gals, investing? And I think that I see so many Air Force folks that are investing, into real estate. But like, tell me about what the culture is, and is that education starting to bleed over into the military?
Yeah, so that is a great question, and I actually I talked to a guy recently who started a business. He invented something for the military, and him and I had this conversation about there's a bit of a stigma,
Yeah,
right? So the stigma is if you're spending your time doing this other thing, maybe you're not doing as much as you can in the military. So that's one part of it.
sure.
But you can draw a parallel to 15 years ago in the service, which I was still in the service 15 years ago. We used to say the same thing about education. And we have since lifted that stigma up. In fact, we almost charge everybody to get to the next echelon of education.
Yep.
And we think entrepreneurship is heading in that direction because it's definitely a growing community. And there are a lot of people getting smart out there due to things like podcasts and YouTube
Yep.
and all the information that's available.
I love it. Adam, this is a question I did not prep you for, but it's the most important question of the podcast. And if you've listened to other episodes, you know what it is. But my brand is about living free and helping other people do that. So what's your best tip or method of living free on a regular basis?
Be intentional.
All
Just
right.
be intentional about everything you do in your life. Intentionality is incredibly important with your family, with your finance, with your business, or just the way you wake up and execute your day. So be intentional.
Be intentional. I love it. Brendan Burchard, who wrote the journal that I use every single day, says, release tension and bring the intention. So I think that that's great advice and spoken like a true investor. I'm curious, Adam, if folks want to reach out to you, learn more about how you took the action that you needed to get into real estate investing. They might be in the military, right? How can somebody reach out to you and connect with you?
Yeah, two places. So you can either find me on Instagram at REI_AW,
Okay.
or you can find me on LinkedIn, just searching my name, Adam Whitney.
And we'll make sure to tag you in the post. Adam, thank you so much. Guys, this is Logan Freeman with the Live Free Investors Podcast, where investors and business owners share advice so you too can live free. Connect and message with myself and Adam on LinkedIn today. Adam, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Logan.
Until next time, live free.